Good evening and thank you for joining us. The future of the James Whalen tug is up for debate at tomorrow's City Council meeting. Administration is recommending scrapping the vessel while preserving some historical parts, though a local organization is looking to save as much of the ship as possible. The Whalen has been moored at Patterson Dock since 2022 after it sunk at Cam River Historical Park where it was being held. With the scrapping recommendation on the table, the Transportation Museum of Thunder Bay is hoping to display as much of the vessel as possible at its site at the Pool 6 dock. Board Chair Wally Peterson says there are challenges when it comes to preserving the entire vessel.
Well, we'd actually like to save the whole ship, but where it is, it's not possible to move it in a financially responsible manner because you'd have to bring up the large barge again, which is $800,000. But you could always take, because it's a metal ship, it could be cut apart and it can be reassembled. So hopefully something along that lines is what's going to happen with it.
City staff did look at other options for the 119-year-old ship. That included displaying the boat out of the water and even sinking the vessel as a Lake Superior diving attraction. Fawcett Funeral Home in Geraldton is closing its doors. It's the 5th in the region to do so since 2022, with a Thunder Bay funeral home now stepping in to address the demand. Justin Hardy has more.
After 2 years of being listed for sale without any interest, Fawcett Funeral Home owner Norman Gelano made the decision to close the long-standing business and begin his retirement. Gelano has been operating Fawcett Funeral Home for 36 years.
It's been an honor and a privilege to have served, you're going to make me cry now, to have served so many families in the area since we've been here, since we got here in 1988. So it's going to be a bittersweet retirement for me because I still love what I do.
Fawcett Funeral Home was the only one servicing the area, with the next closest funeral home 250 kilometers east in Hearst or 280 kilometers southwest in Thunder Bay. Everest of Thunder Bay has stepped up to fill the gap. John Brian Gardner, the president of Everest, says that his organization has the capacity to provide burial and cremation options for the residents of the Greenstone area.
These small communities, they lose their grocery stores, they lose their banks, they lose their gas stations. Now they lose a funeral home. Oh my, what are we going to do? What happens when someone dies? Now they know that, yeah, things will be a little different, but at the end of the day, they can count on us. And we've put ourselves out there that we pledge to look after them and to maintain, like I say, the level of service that they've been accustomed to.
Everest staff spent time with Gelano in the months leading up to the closure of the Fawcett Funeral Home. Gardner says that they've become very familiar with the area and its needs. Justin Hardy, TBT News.
Kiiwetinoong MPP Sol Mamakwa is responding to a devastating fire last week in his riding. The blaze left 6 families without a home in Fort Severn First Nation, and he says it's well past time for the government to step up.
I'm just beyond, thoughts and prayers. Government should be beyond that already, and we cannot continue to say those things and without any action.
Although there were thankfully no casualties, Mamakwa says the fire is still a tragedy for the isolated First Nation and the families that were living in the 6-unit residential building. He says it's infuriating to keep asking for proper firefighting resources, training, and funding for First Nations. Mamakwa says jurisdiction can't be an excuse to do nothing. He wants to see the federal and provincial governments working together to tackle the issue.
When you do not have any infrastructure, any capacity, fire, any training, any equipment to be able to fight a fire, all you can do is just stare at it and let it burn.
The fire was one of several significant structural blazes in Mamakwa's riding last month, with others including a house fire in Sashko Lake on August 27th. Nishnawbe Police Service charged a 29-year-old man with arson in that case. Leading up to National Day for Truth and Reconciliation, Lakehead University hosted an event to honor Indigenous history. During the ceremony, a new art installation was unveiled, accompanied with the raising of the survivor's flag. Neven Pelt reports.
It It was a very special day at Lakehead University as many First Nation leaders, students, staff, and members of the community gathered together to honor children lost to the residential school system, survivors, and their families. A new art installation was unveiled in the Agora Circle and meant to serve as a powerful reminder of Indigenous history and the ongoing journey towards healing and reconciliation.
It's a beautiful, striking piece of art that that shows that Lakehead is committed to this work. It's committed to truth and reconciliation, and committed to Indigenous ways of knowing, which are represented by the 7 feathers, the 7 grandfather teachings on the piece of art.
This art installation is part of the university's initiative to integrate Indigenous culture and history into the campus and build a more inclusive and just future.
Having events like this really does allow for us, our students in particular, to have an opportunity to come together, to learn together, to dialogue, and really think about what truth and reconciliation means to them. It's really important for people to understand that, these things happened, and we always need to be mindful so that they don't continue to happen or they don't happen again here.
Leading up to National Day for Truth and Reconciliation, LU is offering several opportunities for students in the community to learn more about Indigenous history. For over 10 years, the university has had it built into their curriculum that each student must take at least one course with Indigenous content.
It gave me an opportunity to listen to many of our students, listen to many of our lecturers and elders, and see what's been happening and take part in this great initiative to help and empower our Indigenous community.
Along with the unveiling of the Every Child Matters art installation, the ceremony also included the raising of the National Center for Truth and Reconciliation Survivors flag.
We came together to recognize and honor this special moment in time of really, as we raised the national flag for truth and reconciliation, recognizing survivors, their families, day school survivors. It's really an important time.
I find it very powerful and very moving when that flag gets raised, because it is such a beautiful and powerful symbol of truth and reconciliation.
Neb Van Pelt, TBT News.
Residents laced up and made their way to Boulevard Lake this morning to run for a good cause. The second annual Take It in Strides run brought out hundreds who wanted to bring awareness to suicide prevention and support those battling mental illness. Jessica Clement has the story.
Residents were up bright and early Sunday morning to take part in the second annual Take It in Strides run.
Go!
The event is aimed to offer support to individuals struggling with mental health challenges, commemorate those who lost their lives to suicide, and bring awareness to suicide prevention. This year's event saw over 400 participants who were able to pick between a 3-kilometer walk, a 5-kilometer run, or a 10-kilometer run.
I'm participating with my coworkers, and we work for the city police, so we see every day people struggling with mental illness. So we want to participate, raise some money, knowing that it's going to be a positive impact to everyone in the community that needs mental health support.
It's always great to support local events and Connor Remus himself, but I think the biggest issue right now is the rise of mental health issues in not only our community but in the world itself. It's great to get out here and be able to support that. It's a great morning, and look at the turnout. It just goes to show all the local people that do want to help the cause.
Run co-founder Connor Remus says he's blown away by how much support the event has gained over the past 2 years. He says he helped start the run last year as a way to make an impact on a cause close to his heart.
The thing is about this event is it stemmed from tragedy. I lost someone very special to me because of suicide 2 years ago. His name was Joey. Went through mourning and different emotions, and then I kind of got angry when I found out that there wasn't anything really being done to facilitate or help finance programs and resources for people who are struggling. And I've been a big runner all my life. A lot of my family members are and friends are as well, and so I thought what better way to bring the community together than to have a run.
Last year's run raised over $52,000, and Remus hopes to raise the same amount this year, with the proceeds going towards the Canadian Mental Health Association and the Children's Centre Foundation.
The funds are here to support great causes, and that's all that matters. Having people come out, having people donate, but also share their stories of loved ones that have lost. Memorial Wall, that's the important part too.
Remus adds that he hopes he'll be able to grow the event in the future to make an even bigger impact on the community and the country.
I plan to hold this event in Thunder Bay year after year. If you've noticed, our email account is takeitinstrides.yqt, which is Thunder Bay. I would love to see this turn into YUL, YYZ, YTZ. Like, if this turns into something as big as like the Run for the Cure, where each major city can hold their own Taking in Strides run. That would be my ultimate dream.
If you would like to donate or learn more about the run, you can go online to takeitInStridesRun.com. Jessica Clement, TBT News.
We're now joined by sports anchor Nev Van Pelt. Nev, a really good day for mountain biking in the city as Thunder Bay was hosting the Canadian Championship.
It sure was, and it was the first time Thunder Bay actually had the chance to host it, so it was quite a success. We'll have more on it after the break.